let's define what like supervision means. Like, it's not micromanaging. Like, what is supervision to you?
Well, it's toward micromanaging. I mean, supervision is me checking out what you're doing, critiquing it, maybe telling you, giving instruction. That is supervision. Whether you're a 1, 2, or 3 depends on how much of that you require. And if it's just the minimal, hey, we're building a house and here's where it is. Here are the plans. Go get it. They've been supervised, but they didn't need very much.
Yeah.
But
I
if the
think,
guy doesn't know how to hold a hammer,
yeah, I think kind of what I'm thinking of is like a 3 is you've got the supervisor on the job site out like on the project, literally walking around, supervising, making sure that you're still doing your work and that we're on time and there's no issues and we're abiding by safety and everything's being done the way it needs to be done and even directing a lot of it. Then like a 2, you've got the supervisor on site, but just in the truck, just, maybe pops out every once in a while, but is just in the truck. And then the 1 is the supervisor starts the day there and then leaves, maybe closes out the day there or maybe doesn't. Um, that's kind of maybe what I'm thinking. What are your initial thoughts
no,
there?
we can, in general, sure.
Mhm.
That's right.
Okay.
Define it any way we want to. Uh,
Sure.
the next question is of what use is it? I mean, we're kind of exploring that here right now. We don't
Yeah, yeah,
have it all.
exactly.
And one of the things that I think matter about is useful is if employees are 1s, 2s, or 3s and they know it, okay,
Yeah.
it is telling people what's important to us. Okay. The next thing is, uh, I can hear the pushback right now. You can't tell that guy he's a 3. I go, well, you're right. I can't tell him because he doesn't work here anymore because I couldn't tell him anything. But the next thing is, what could you do to reward? And I mean, I just threw out something, but maybe you have a standard rate for a job. If a guy's number 1 in that job, he gets 1.1 times that or
Hmm.
1.05, whatever. If you're a 2 in that job, you get 1, you get that pay. And if you're a 3, you get 0.9, right?
Okay.
Until you get moved up. Now they have to understand clearly what moves them up. And that's always hard. It is subjective. But if we had a team of good project managers, let's say that experience been around for years, they can sit down and tell you, here are the things I'm looking for in a guy I can count on, right?
Right.
And we start to codify that and say, you didn't meet these, you're still a 1. Well,
You're still a 2.
a 2. Yeah. I mean, you're at
Yeah.
1.0 on the pay scale.
Right.
You're a 2. So
Okay.
anyway,
So
I
directly
just thought
tying
it
it to
was
the
interesting.
incentives
Yeah.
of
I
the
mean, try to
job.
find incentives and disincentives and mentor. Uh, anyway, the reason we're talking about it was I thought that was really interesting. This guy's done
Yeah.
that for a long time. Everybody on his team knows what a 1, 2, and a 3 is. And
Right.
his brother was telling me that if he's getting a replacement person and they send over a 3, they get him right back. Don't ever send a
Mhm.
3 over here to me, right?
No, that's a good call. My only concern with, listeners maybe trying to implement this is they maybe treat it how some treat delegation and getting frustrated with how it's going. Uh, there's a lot of support that this guy has in place. Like he's there's got to be a training program, a solid onboarding program.
Yeah.
It's a part of the culture. There's a mentorship model in place to be able to get people's from 2 to 1s and to elevate. There's probably some sort of incentive structure in place. It's not just show up one day and say, all hands meeting, guys. From now on, we've got 1s, 2s, and 3s in terms of supervision.
Right.
And hey, you two are gone. um, there's definitely that program that needs to be in place and that culture that needs to be established to be able to really get that off the ground. But I think, most business owners are going to want those 1s out there, but they don't have the culture and the processes in place to warrant having ones around,
Yeah.
you know? And so
Well,
I think that's the piece to think
I
about.
I just if everybody in the company knows that your pay, your ranking, all depend on your ability to do things without being supervised or
Yeah.
micromanaged, I think you'll get more of that. And
Mhm.
so that's what's intriguing about it. Haven't thought out all the systems and processes, but I thought it was really interesting.
Yeah. No, really interesting. I think more things in the business need to be that simple. Um, a scale of 3 is wonderful. It's very objective. Like, essentially, I think of it as 2, you're meeting expectations, 3, you're not meeting expectations,
Yeah.
1, you're exceeding expectations.
Yeah.
And that's the most clear. Obviously, it's not the most detailed, but that's where you can have real conversations, to get the detail. I think even just any sort of system to rank your employees and rate your employees and give them feedback isn't given enough. Quarterly reviews, even annual reviews aren't done regularly enough inside of construction, in my opinion. So I think implementing a system like this where you do have clear feedback and a way for people to measure how their performance is is great. So highly recommend
And I
implementing
also
anything like
want
that.
I want big badges, 1, 2, or 3, and it
So it's
goes
gonna be
right
like the
over your
scarlet
heart.
letter.
Yeah. Just I'm a 1. And if they rip it off, like
Yeah.
in the military walk of shame, rip off your number 1 and slap on a 2 and make you cut the buttons off your uniform.
So the only challenge, the one thing we didn't talk about with this, you're foreman and you move to project manager, you get promoted. Do you become, are you still a 1?
If you can work without supervision, maybe I mean, we can overthink if that's the criteria. If you're a foreman and you move to project manager, it's going to be presumed that you have the ability to do that. The fact that we don't want supervision doesn't mean you don't ask questions. It's just that you are not occupying the mind of your supervisor, wondering if you're getting your dang job done.
Mm,
Matter of fact, it's the opposite. Whew.
yeah.
At least I got Bob and he's out working because all this other stuff is going to hell in a handbasket.
So it's less of a skill and it's more of a trait, essentially is what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not, I mean, like it's really a value and a trait. It's something about a behavior and a mindset more than it is about like, you know how to do the job so well that you don't need
Well,
to be supervised.
you
I mean,
do
it's
need
kind of
that
both.
skills, but no, you have to have the mindset. There are a lot of people who can do jobs, and that's what they
Mm,
want to do. I want to go do my job. I don't want to be. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to have to be nice to customers. Whatever. I just want to do my job and go home, and that's okay, and
that's okay. That's good.
that's a two. I mean,
Yeah.
you need that, but
Yeah.
the boss is looking for somebody that, man, if I had four like that, we could really rock the world.